Hello everyone, Squee here, and welcome to my announcement video for the MDWF, Marvel DC Wrestling Federation. This is a new series that we're going to be starting here on this channel, and it's going to be a bit different than what we've done before, but not unfamiliar if you followed my stuff, especially if you followed things like Dragon Ball Z League or anything of that kind. This is going to be different and it's going to take some explanation, but viewer participation is highly encouraged, so please watch this video and please watch it all the way before you go run off and declare for a team so that you know exactly what you're getting into before you do so. And yes, you can declare for teams and actually make choices that matter. I will get into that in a moment. First things first, what is the MDWF, Marvel DC Wrestling Federation? Well, it's like probably one of the nerdiest things you could think of. Imagine a wrestling league, and I mean like WWE wrestling, the fake stuff. Wrestling's fake, we all know, but it's still so good. I've been a fan of wrestling for a very long time, ever since my first episode of Raw that I ever watched, I think was in 2000 or 2001. It was Mankind versus The Rock for the title, and it entranced me. I've fallen off in recent years as I haven't enjoyed some of the choices they've made, but I'm still a fan and I still watch the pay-per-views because, if nothing else, they're always a good time. They're a good spectacle. So I've been a big fan of wrestling for a while. And wrestling may not be your thing. I know some of you are out there going, really? But hear me out. The wrestling may not be your thing and you could still find enjoyment of this. So the idea of this is that I have made 60 Marvel and DC heroes and villains, of which I'm going to put into a wrestling league. The WWE 2K18 game has a mode called Universe Mode, where you can make your own shows and you set up matches and have champions and all this good stuff. We're going to use this to basically run a wrestling league made up of Marvel and DC superheroes and villains. The idea will be the matches themselves will be computer versus computer. There will be no one controlling them to keep things fair. And yes, I've already tested this out. They are very entertaining to watch. More so, I think, than normal, because you don't have to have health bars up. So you can treat it like a real wrestling match where you're not quite sure who's winning or who's losing or if they're going to kick out of this or not. You don't know. It makes it much more interesting, in my opinion. And I have put a lot of work into this, building it. I have made a show for Marvel, a show for DC. I have title belts that are specialized for this this universe. And what we're going to do is every Sunday at 5 p.m. Central Time, we're going to stream a show. It's going to run just like a wrestling show. We're going to have a 2-ish hour, I don't know, maybe it's an hour and a half. I don't know. I have a certain number of matches. I don't know how long it's going to go on for. But we're going to have that every week. And then every 5th week will be a pay-per-view, which is like a big show. If you know anything about wrestling, pay-per-views are like the big shows where titles are decided and switch hands and big stuff happens. So, the idea behind this is simple. I have divided all of the heroes and villains up into 10 teams, or factions if you want to call it that. And you, as viewers, will go to the Discord in the link, Discord link in the description below, and hang on, don't do it yet. Go to the Discord link below, go to the room that says declare, and you will declare for one of these teams. Say, I want to be on the Avengers, okay? That will give you access to a room that only other people in Avengers can see, and in this room you guys can work together to make decisions. Now we're going to keep it very simple at start. If you're familiar with Dragon Ball Z League, understand this will be nowhere near as complicated. And must be taken with a grain of salt, because this is very new, it's very experimental. I want to start slowly. So right now you'll only have a few things to decide, and as we continue I'll add more in there, and I'll get into that a little bit later. But first things first, what you will have to decide with your other teammates when you choose a faction is who's running for what titles. You have 6 people in every faction, 4 guys, 2 girls. Now, unfortunately, I wanted there to be no separation because, as far as I'm concerned, you know, Storm can take on any guy in the universe that dares to threaten her. I mean, there's no one that can tell me Miss Marvel can't take on Thor. So I didn't want there to be a separation between male and female. I figured anyone could go for any title, why not? Unfortunately, the game does not support that. They don't allow male versus female wrestlers. That's just not a thing the game supports. And there are a few mods, but they don't work well enough to do what I need to do. So unfortunately, we're going to have a women's division. So they will have their own title that they compete for. And we'll see in the future, maybe we'll find a way to mix things up a bit. But every faction has 4 men and 2 women. Every faction will have to choose who is running for what title. There are 3 titles or championship belts in this federation. There is the Universal Championship, which is the men's championship belt. There is the Interdimensional Championship, which is the women's championship belt, and there are the tag team championships, which is, if you're not familiar at all with wrestling, a tag team match is basically 2-on-2, where you have someone in your corner that you can tag in to take your place so that you can rest, and it's basically 2-on-2 matches. So there's 3 belts to go for, and every faction will have to choose people to go for it. So of your 6 people, you'll choose 1 to go for the Universal, 1 to go for the Interdimensional, and 2 to form a tag team to go after the tag team gold. Which means 4 people, there'll be 2 left over. Those extra 2 are there for a couple of reasons. 1, so you have more choices. 2, injuries might be a thing here. This is one thing to keep in mind for everyone who's coming from, say, Dragon Ball Z League or just from anywhere in general. This whole experiment needs to be taken kind of tongue-in-cheek, because this is WWE style wrestling, and what I mean by that is that people get screwed over. For example, you could win a title match and maybe someone might cash in Money in the Bank, which I do plan on implementing, and take that title from you. Or you might be defending your title in a 4-way match where you're facing 3 other people and your chances of winning are only 25%. You have to understand this going in, that things aren't always going to be fair, because that's the nature of the game, and just roll with it and be okay with that. So I want to make sure I get that clear and out of the way right off the bat. Your favorite person may be injured and out for a couple of months. That's something that could happen. So just understand all this going in. That way you're not upset if it happens to you. But yes, so first things first. You guys, for our first month, things are going to run a little differently. Normally, we'll have a general format that it will follow every month, and you guys will have things to vote on and choose. However, for the first month, we have to do things a little differently, because we don't have any title defenders yet. We don't have anyone that owns a championship. So the first month is going to basically be all 10 teams choose who they want running for the belts, and the first month is going to be single one-on-one tournaments to determine who's going to compete for those belts. And so we'll take 4 weeks to whittle everyone down until there's only 2 people challenging for each title, or 2 tag teams. And then first pay-per-view in 5 weeks will be those matches determining who becomes the first title holders. Now, this might be a little confusing for those of you who are new to it, but just bear with me. You watch it a few times, you'll get it. I'm sure there'll be other people on your team that know about wrestling, can help you with it. You can ask me in Discord, and I will be more than happy to explain things to you as well. But just understand that the first month, all you have to choose by next Sunday, because next Sunday, which is, I believe, August the 19th, will be our first show. You need to determine who's going for the Universal Belt, what girl's going for the Interdimensional Belt, and who you want to form a tag team to go for the tag team belts. And I want a group decision, okay? Then we will start the tournaments. You'll get to watch everyone. You'll get to see how it goes in 5 weeks. So what we're going to do is we're going to have 4 shows, 4 Sundays where it's going to be the normal shows, and then every 5th Sunday will be the pay-per-view, and that's the big matches, and that's where you get the crazy fun matches like table matches and cage matches and Hell in a Cell matches. Really fun stuff. And we will determine the first champion holders, and then from there we will go into our more normal formatting, and I will explain how that will work when we get there. I don't want to overload anyone. This video is already 10 minutes long, and I still have more to say, so we'll worry about that when we get there. The thing that you have to be aware of is right now you need to determine who's going to be running for those belts right off the bat. And don't worry if you, in the future, if you don't hold a title belt or if you're not a #1 contender, there will always be something for your faction to do. You will never have a month where you are left out completely. I promise you. Next thing I'd like to say is that I'm going to tell everyone what the 10 factions are and who's on those factions. And this is important. I want you guys to listen to it so that you know who you're signing up for and who's on there. There's a couple of things I need to point out. The people on each faction may not be who you wanted. I am not taking requests for people, mainly because creating these people is a very long and difficult process. I do not hesitate or exaggerate when I tell you that I have been working on this for over a month. I have been handcrafting almost 60 people in great detail to make them look as good as I can. Now, about 15 or so of them I could download from other people who've already made them. Another 15 or so I had guides that I could find online of how to make them and custom textures and all that. But a good half or more of this roster I have made from scratch. Kriana has actually helped me a little bit as well, making a few of them. But I do not exaggerate when I tell you that making a character can take 3 to 4 hours depending on how detailed you get with it. So I'm not taking requests for new people because I just don't have the time. I've already made 60 of them. I think that's good. There may be people on these factions that you didn't expect, and there's a couple of reasons for them. One, they had to be people who looked decent. There are some people out there, Red Skull comes to mind, where no matter what I did, I could not make them look good. They just looked ridiculous, and I couldn't bear it, so I replaced them with someone else. So there might be some people on there that you're like, God, why isn't so-and-so on there? Well, there's a good chance that I tried to make them, and I just could not make it look good. There are some people on there who I will say don't look the best, but they look passable at the very least. They look excellent in most cases, in my humble opinion. I think you will be pleased with them as well. Also, the other one is that some of them's just personal preference. For example, on the X-Men, I put Jubilee on there, and she may not be people's first choice. People might think Rogue or Psylocke would be a better choice, maybe, but I've always liked Jubilee, and I feel like she got the short shift in the comics, so whatever. I threw her in, you know, creator's prerogative. So that a lot of that has to do with that too. So these may not be exactly who you're expecting, but I have all the big ones here, and I think you overall will be pleased. I've been rambling on enough. Let me go ahead and list off the factions and the people in them. No, I'm not going to show you pictures of everyone yet for 2 reasons. One, I don't have everyone done as much as I'd like. There's still some minor tweaking to people I'd like to do. And 2, that kind of ruins the surprise, right? Don't you want to see them for the first time when they come out to wrestle their match? That's the way I want to look at it. So I'll tell you who's in there, but I'm not going to show you their pictures. Just understand the quality is quite a bit above what you might be expecting, I hope. Worked really hard on it. So, first things first, there are, in every faction, there's 10 factions, 5 DC and 5 Marvel. There are 3 hero factions and 2 villain factions on each side. And we might get into that later. We might have stories later and storylines and rivalries, but we will deal with all of that, like I said, down the road. We're starting soft and gentle. So, on the Marvel side, we have the Web Slingers, which consist of Spider-Man, Scarlet Spider, who is Ben Reilly, Peter Parker's clone, if you don't know, Venom, and Deadpool, because Deadpool's always wanted to be in the Spider-Man family. If you've ever read Deadpool, you know that he has always wanted to be Spider-Man's best friend, and I can see no better place to put him than on the Spider-Man's family. I think he'll have a great home there. For the girls, we have Spider-Gwen, or Ghost Spider, and Silk. So that is the Web Slingers that we have. Those are who are going to be competing. Those are your options. In the next faction, we have the X-Men, which consist of Cyclops, Beast, Colossus, and Wolverine. And I will note right now, real quick, with Wolverine, I'm still working on his costume. He's probably going to be wearing a full mask. You know, Wolverine's mask, it shows his mouth. I couldn't get that to work, but otherwise he looks really spot on, so I just left it. And for the girls, we have Storm and Jubilee. That's going to be the X-Men. The Avengers, we have Captain America, Iron Man, Black Panther, and Thor. And for the girls, we have Black Widow and Miss Marvel. Now, I don't remember if Black Panther's exactly ever been on the Avengers, but keep in mind, please, that these factions aren't exactly canon. There's some of these factions that have people on there because they're very, like, for example, Black Panther is a very popular hero right now. I'm sure everyone wants him to be in the League, but I didn't really quite know where to put him, and he's worked with the Avengers, so I put him on the Avengers. So keep in mind that some people on these teams may not have actually been on them in the comics. Just roll with me on it, please. For the evil factions from Marvel, you have the Brotherhood of Mutants, which it has Juggernaut, Magneto, Mr. Sinister, Sabretooth for the men. And again, Mr. Sinister, I don't think he ever worked with them, but he definitely fits. And then for the women, you have Mystique and Scarlet Witch. That's going to be the Brotherhood of Mutants. Then you have Masters of Evil, which, by the way, I don't think is actually a faction of any kind in Marvel. It's just kind of I needed a faction to put these cool people in. So, in the Masters of Evil, you have Killmonger, Winter Soldier, Carnage, Doctor Doom, Dark Phoenix, and Hela, the Goddess of Death. So that's who's in the Masters of Evil. Really cool characters. They turned out great, in my opinion. So that's what we have on Marvel's side. We have the Web Slingers, we have the X-Men, we have the Avengers, we have the Brotherhood of Mutants, and we have the Masters of Evil. In the DC corner, we have the Justice League, which is Superman, of course, Green Arrow, Shazam, Green Lantern, sorry, Wonder Woman, and Power Girl. And for those of you who don't know, Power Girl is like Supergirl, but an older, more mature version of Supergirl. Same person, just from a future timeline. Very, very popular. I like her a lot. So, like I said, yeah, Superman, Green Arrow, Shazam, Green Lantern, Wonder Woman, Power Girl. That's the Justice League. And if you're wondering, like, well, why not this person? It could be many reasons. Flash isn't in there for a reason I'll explain in a second. Aquaman, it was kind of like between Aquaman and Green Arrow. There was already a really good Green Arrow character, so I just went with it. But after that, you have the Bat Family, which has Batman, Nightwing, Terry McGinnis, who's called Batman Beyond, Batgirl, Catwoman, who you kind of have to roll with me a little on that. Would she be considered part of the Batman family? Depends on what comics you read. In some comics, Bruce Wayne and Catwoman are married, so yeah. But she's definitely been a gray member. In other words, sometimes a part of it, which works for me. And Damian Wayne as Robin, so Batman's son, Damian Wayne. So Batman, Nightwing, Batman Beyond, Damian Wayne's Robin, Batgirl, and Catwoman. Then you have the Teen Titans, which is, oh gosh, I can't think of his name. The Red Robin, the guy who plays Robin. Oh, why am I blanking on his name? Hang on, there's Dick Grayson, there's Todd, Tim Drake, thank you, me. So Tim Drake's Robin, Red Robin, Cyborg, Beast Boy, Kid Flash, Raven, and Starfire. Now, Kid Flash is on the Teen Titans because he has been on the Teen Titans before, and I didn't see a point in having a Kid Flash and a Flash, so I took Flash off of the Justice League to make room for other people. So that's the Teen Titans. You got Tim Drake's Robin, Cyborg, Beast Boy, Kid Flash, Raven, and Starfire. And then for the evil factions, you have Arkham Asylum, which consists of Joker, Bane, Deathstroke, Arkham Knight, who turned out really great, by the way, Harley Quinn, and Poison Ivy. So that's going to be the Arkham Asylum. And that's basically like Batman Rogues villains, a villain gallery type of thing. And then last but not least, you have the Legion of Doom, which is a DC faction that consists of Lobo, who, if you don't know who Lobo is, he's a really cool bounty hunter who is sometimes a bad guy and sometimes an anti-hero, but here he's in the evil faction. Atrocitus, who is the leader of the Red Lantern Corps, the Lantern of Rage. General Zod, you should know who that is. Black Adam, which is Shazam's rival. And for the women, you have Silver Banshee and Blackfire, who is Starfire's sister. So a little bit of sibling rivalry, perhaps, we'll see. Who knows? So yeah, Lobo, Atrocitus, General Zod, Black Adam, Silver Banshee, and Blackfire. Those are all 60 people that are going to be in this league. Again, I'm not taking recommendations because I don't have the ability to make more right now. And no, I'm not allowing trades because what's there is what's there. Choose a faction that you think you would be happy with. And if there are factions where people aren't a part of, that's fine. I'll take care of it. I'll choose who's going for what. So don't feel like you have to choose a faction just because no one else has chosen it. If you really want to be part of the Bat family and everyone's part of the Bat family, that's fine. Don't worry about it. Just be where you want to be. So this video has gone on way long enough. I'm going to go ahead and stop it here. Just understand that next Sunday, which as I said is August 19th, at 5 p.m. Central Time, we will be streaming our first show, where I will explain a little bit more of how this will go down, but I need you all to pick your team and to pick who's going for the Universal Championship, who's going for the Interdimensional Championship, the Women's Championship, and who's forming a tag team to go for the Tag Team Championships. Get all that sorted, and in your Discord room, just have someone at me, just, you know, at Squee. I'll make sure the instructions are in each room of how to get that information to me. Get it to me at least hopefully a couple of days before Sunday so that I have time to form the tag teams and everything. But I'm looking forward to this. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. If you don't really understand what's going on, that's fine. Just come watch it on Sunday. You'll pick it up well enough. And even if you don't, I promise it'll be entertaining nonetheless. So go to the link down below in the description to the Discord channel, go to the Declare Your Team room and declare for a team. We will try and get you permissions to that room as quickly as possible, and then start working with other people in your room to determine who's going for what title. Should be fun. And as I said, this is just the beginning. As time goes on, you will be given more and more abilities and things to vote on and choose, like maybe custom abilities for your wrestlers, maybe certain match types you can vote on, things of that nature. But we're starting slow, we're starting small. We'll add things as we go. All right, guys, I'm excited, looking forward to it, and otherwise I will see you guys next Sunday. All right, take care.